Now, Alaa Abd El-Fattah is a British-Egyptian democracy activist and writer who's been in prison for Egypt for most of the last decade. In December last year, he was jailed for a further 5 years for supposedly spreading fake news. He's been on hunger strike, but from today he says he will refuse to drink water as well. The Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, says the government is working tirelessly for his release, but his family is warning that he could die even during Rishi Sunak's visit to the country for COP. And now we can reveal on this programme that Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has written to his sister Sanaa saying that he is committed to seeking Alaa's release. Sanaa will be flying to Egypt later today, but she joins us now live on the programme. Thank you so much for being with us. It must be, a very distressing time for you and your family. When was the last time you heard from your brother?
It was on the 31st, so like a week ago, through a letter. Where he told us that he will escalate his hunger strike. Last time anyone saw him was my mom on the 16th. We only have a visit once a month. It's behind the glass shield. And so the next visit will be on the 16th, which would be too late, I think.
He's been on hunger strike before, eating just 100 calories a day for 7 months. I mean, I can't imagine what that must have been like.
Yeah, he's been on this partial hunger strike for over 200 days. I last saw him in August. That's the last time I visited Egypt, and he already looked very, very frail. He already looked, to me, very scary. His eyes were sunken. He looked strange. His mind was still alert, and he was still like my brother, but I was reading online about what happens when you're dehydrated, what happens to a body when you stop water, and it's already very scary for a normal body, and Alaa's body is not normal. He's very frail already. I just want to also remind that he's putting his body on the line, not because he wants to die, but because he wants to live and he wants his life back, and he's really tired of this. Alaa has a 10-year-old boy, and Alaa has spent the past 9 years in prison. He hasn't had time with his kid.
We're having a look at him, you two together on the screen behind us now. A very different looking brother, I'm sure, at this point.
No, he doesn't look like that at all. We were in South Africa having a safari back then.
He has been in prison, as you say, for the best part of a decade. He was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in Egypt last December. Can you just explain to us why he's in prison?
Technically, for like a Facebook post, the only piece of evidence is a Facebook post that he shared, not one that he wrote, but one that he shared about a human rights violation in Egyptian prison. But Alaa is a writer. He was a prominent pro-democracy, secular activist figure back in 2011, when there was an uprising in Egypt. And so he's kind of used to set an example for others. That's why I think the attack is so vicious on him. That's why they're keen on keeping him in prison. And whenever he finishes the sentence, they put him on a new one.
We're seeing his boy there as well. The boy
yes, Khalid.
Or the rare occasions that he could see his dad.
Yeah, Khalid has not seen his father for over a year now, because Khalid is he's non-verbal. He does not communicate. He's on the spectrum, and for the past 3 years, Alaa's visits are behind the glass shield with phone speakers. We've explained many times to the Egyptian authorities that his son cannot communicate in that form. At first, they would make like exceptions for the kid, and then they decided not to. So that's I'm stressing on these things because Alaa is denied many of his basic rights, even by their laws, which are wrong. He's charged on a misdemeanor, but they treat him as if he's like a terrorist or a grand criminal.
And of course, this is happening in Egypt, which is preparing to host world leaders for the COP climate change summit. You've received a letter from Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister. What does it say?
I was glad to see that he said, we received it yesterday, that he said that he feels our family's pain. He understands that it's a painful time for the family. It's good that we have a commitment from the Prime Minister's office, but what worried me is that he said that we will get information after the conference. I feel like the Prime Minister needs to understand the urgency. After the conference, it could be too late. I know it's not the Prime Minister's mistake, but the Foreign Office, the embassy, and they've been working on this for very long, and I feel like they've been setting the Prime Minister to fail in this trip. It will be his first trip, and so it's a challenge. But I hope Prime Minister Rishi Sunak understands the urgency, and I know he can do it if he has his mind to it, and if he shows the rest of the entities in the government that this is a priority.
And I know it's really hard to talk about, but just to, I guess, make it really crystal clear what you're saying, is you're saying that it could be too late because your brother is about to stop drinking water and he could die while COP is going on. Is that what you mean? Yeah, I'm worried that he could die while the conference is happening and while the Prime Minister is over there. We don't have a way to know, so I would urge the Prime Minister and the British government to be the ones responsible for getting us proof of life. Consular access is a right to the British government. We as family, our first visit is on the 16th. My mum will go every other day to the prison and try to ask, but they can ignore her. So while there is a British delegation that will be over there, an official delegation that will be engaging with the Egyptian authorities, the Egyptians need to show some respect to the Prime Minister's visit and just get consular access to the embassy or get us a proof of life until it is resolved. It's very urgent, and as Naomi Klein put it in an article, she said, if we can't save this man, if we can't get him out of prison, then what hope do we have for saving our planet? This case has got so much international attention and solidarity, and all of these world leaders are going, including Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. This is they will make big pledges about the planet that we're not sure if they will work or not, according to the previous conferences. But this is a very simple thing that you can make happen, and it's a good thing, and it's not that hard. And in the letter, Rishi Sunak does say that he is going to raise this directly with the Egyptian president. Is that something that gives you some optimism? I understand what you're saying about the time frame, of course. It gives me optimism that he sent the family a letter and that he understands the urgency, but just raising it, I don't know, like, it has been raised before, and I feel like politicians understand when they raise things out of lip service or when they actually care. And I'm sure Number 10 understands how to do it properly. So I'm hoping it won't be just lip service. I'm hoping it will be, we really care. Britain has a very strong relationship with Egypt, and so it's easy. It's your friend. You can negotiate something with them. OK. Thank you so much for being on the programme. I know how difficult it has been for you to talk about this, but we admire your bravery in coming on and being a voice for your brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.